How y'all doing, guys? This is another edition of Paul Blark's Garage. Just want to share with y'all a project me and my son worked on today. This is a 1988 GMC Sierra. I think a 88 to a 94 are all basically the same as far as function. Problem I had is when I first bought the truck, I noticed all these marks here, and after getting the windshield wipers working, I turned them on and the thing was coming way out here and hitting. So what you have to do is you have to take these panels right here off, which are there's 3 sections. Once you take one end off, which I started with the driver's side first, or actually my son and I started on each end. And once you take this off, it's got one screw holding it in, and then one here and one here. And it's the same on the other side. Now, I may have had some screws missing out of it, but that's how many I had to take out. And when we took it out, we fished it up the windshield with the hood up. And when you're doing this, be careful because these things are very brittle. As you can see, I got a crack right here, and you'll break them off. Just take your time and get them out. Some people may have had them open before and put some kind of sealant or something in there. But anyway, when you get them off, the adjustment is down in here. And I think you'll need what size socket did you use?
A 10mm socket with a 3-inch extension and a half inch ratchet.
Well, a half-inch wrench.
Yeah, wrench.
And of course, all the adjustments here, we had to move every bracket was already loose. Those 4 bolts and screws you see, they were loose, and we tightened those down, and then we just actually moved them over to the side and then tightened everything down. Moved it over as far as it would go and turned the windshield wipers on, and I guess because it's so old, it still comes to about right here, almost hitting this part here, but barely. And so I'm thinking that whenever I get some new arms and blades, it'll straighten that out. But anyway, if anybody's looking at doing this, it's not really that hard. I would suggest trying to get somebody to help you, so that you can lift that panel, that brittle plastic panel out on both sides. It helps because, like I said, it's brittle and you break them and they're hard to come by. That's not already broke.
The plastic bushing right here is wore out. Right here on the shaft. That's why we can't get a really good adjustment, because that plastic bushing in there is worn out.
Let's see if we can see it. Yeah. You got this. Yeah, there we go.
You can kind of see pieces of it.
Yeah, that could, hopefully you don't have that problem, but it is what it is. It's an old truck. But anyway, we got the old truck, finally got the garage cleaned out enough to get the old truck in here. Yeah, I know it looks rough, but I mean, it's a project truck. It used to be a red truck, and somebody primered it blue and then put some rally stripes on it. And you don't want to drop your shit in the floor. Put it somewhere where it doesn't fall. We're our own worst enemies on this project, as you can see. Most people are. So you fix one thing and then something else breaks. But another thing I I noticed that it's got an Edelbrock carburetor on it, and I took it off and rebuilt it. Whenever you mash down on it, it would hesitate and bog and pop and go dead. And come to find out, my timing was off, which is still kind of sort of off a little bit, but I got a timing light and got it at about I think it's like 35 degrees total timing at 2,000 or 3,000 RPMs, and almost at top dead center. I'm going to kind of retard it a little bit, maybe 10 degrees later on, but I stuck a accelerator pump in there, and I think it's a cheap pump, and I think that might be some of my problem, but anyway, I've got a gauge, a fuel pressure gauge I'm going to put in the system to know exactly where my fuel pressure is, but that'll be another video. But as you can see from some of the other videos I've done, the truck's come a pretty good, reasonable way. But another project I have is I noticed that whenever all the tires were new on the truck except for this side, and it almost looked like somebody had been doing burnouts on that tire, but then come to find out, every time you mash the gas pedal and try to go somewhere, the truck was kind of hard for it to get it to move. Couldn't figure out why, so I jacked the front end up, thinking maybe it was a bearing or something, wheel bearing, and that caliper is froze. I took the caliper off and a C-clamp and worked it back and forth, and it locks up. And getting really good fluid to it and everything through the lines. So I'm gonna have to get another caliper and put on this side, and then bleed the brakes, and for us to go out and drive it, because I don't want to drive it with it locking up. Anyway, hopefully this video helps somebody. If you're dealing with one of these, that's what you're going to have to do to adjust your windshield wiper arms. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. If it helped out, fine. If not, fine. Sub, like, and subscribe if you like these trucks, and kind of like me, you don't know much about them and you're just learning as you go along, and maybe I can help you out. But anyway, signing off, Power Blocks Garage. Appreciate you watching. Peace.